This parrot had been kept in a tiny cage in a crack cocaine den, which has left him with lifelong damage. I'm Izzy and I visit different animal shelters across the UK, highlighting the ones that you don't often see on mainstream media. And today I'm at the Morndyke Parrot Sanctuary in North Yorkshire. This shelter became a charity in 2023, but it was started a few years before that.
So my daughter Anna Kingston is currently studying wildlife ecology and conservation at Bangor University. But when she was 12, she found a dying pigeon on the farm and put it in a bedroom and rescued it, and it died, obviously, because I think it possibly had something like bird flu, which we didn't know about at the time. So she was absolutely mortified and then said she wanted to rescue pigeons. We had to actually import the birds from the Isle of Wight. We had to build her a little tiny wooden aviary. Invariably she went off pigeon. No, she didn't go off pigeon, she went off the work of pigeons, shall we say, afterwards. And so then she wanted to work in a pet shop. So I said, I'll check it out first. She found this pet shop and I said, I'll check it. So I went in, and to my horror, there was a little kakariki in a cage that was, you wouldn't have even put an ant in it, it was so small. And so I took one look at it and left and thought, she's not going in there. And then that night I couldn't sleep. So I thought, I'm going to go in the next day and I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to see what questions I'm asked. The shop owner should find out about my background, where I'm keeping it, what my knowledge is, how I'm going to look after it, etc, etc. He asked me nothing. I handed over, I think it was £30, and he gave me a bird in a box and off I went, and I was absolutely horrified how easy and how morally wrong that was.
And one kakariki turned into more. Now the shelter has over 200 parrots, and today we're going to be finding out some of their stories to highlight the things that you might not know about these unique birds.
He'd come out of a crack cocaine den. He was kept in a tiny dog crate, probably that big, in the dark attic. He's very pale. I imagine he's got liver disease. A group of people that had him, kept him caged, came here, got out of their van and threw the travel cage at me and said, he's a little SHIT and I don't want to see him again.
Morning! I've never been to a parrot sanctuary before, so I am very excited. I think they're one of the most unique, most interesting animals. About an hour and a half away, so let's finish getting ready. When I'm filming this, we're in the peak of a heat wave in the UK. I don't think I've ever filmed at a sanctuary when it's been like that before, so not looking forward to sitting in the car. The show must go on. Let's get ready. The shorts are out, the summer shorts. Let's go and film some parrots. I'll probably see you when I get there. We are here! I've got to wear protection because they land on you. Hello! Yeah, so start off by telling me about the first case study. Who would you like to mention first?
So we can start with a parrot called Peter. Peter is male eclectus, so he's one of the green parrots with the orange beaks. He's a lovely parrot, stays outside, will not go inside at all for anything. And there's a very good reason for that, because when he, before he came into me, he was handed into a rescue, because we take the bed blockers from the rescues that nobody wants. And he'd come out of a crack cocaine den. He was kept in a cage that was probably about so big, never been cleaned out. He was fed baked beans, chocolate biscuits, and had lived there for his whole life. I think he's quite young, I think he's only about 8 or 9 years old. And he came in and he was high on crack. How he survived, I do not know, but he's survived and he's thrived. So parrots are remarkably sensitive, so they can't, even things like aftershave and things like that can. We've got one that goes into anaphylactic shock for things like that, and they can't be near Teflon or candles burning and things like that. So to actually be in an environment where he is constantly breathing in crack cane is lethal. But he wanders around. Although he can't fly because he hasn't developed any flight muscles, he walks everywhere, he climbs everywhere. Oh, baby, oh, sweetheart, it's all right, darling. And but he won't go inside, and I don't blame him. So he was a really sad case. But the good news is that he's alive and he's enjoying having his own version of wild here. He won't live at the ripe old age, there's no doubt about that. Every day is a blessing with him because unfortunately the damage has been done. So it will kill him, but it's just a question of when. But at the moment, he's well, happy and living his life. And that's, unfortunately here we do seem to be a bit of a hospice. So although we have 200 parrots here, we've had more than that because obviously there's a death rate. Most aviary collections, the death rate is 10.19%. Sanctuary collections, it's 15%. And ours is under 2% as a rolling percentage. So I know what we're doing here works because the statistics show it, even on the worst days when we lose one. I think, am I doing the right thing? You question yourself constantly. But the death rate shows that. But we do lose them and they do die, and we have to deal with that. And it's incredibly painful and difficult, and it just breaks us completely. But Peter is alive, and for every day is a blessing for that. This is a chestnut-fronted macaw. This one's called Winnie. Now, Winnie is a girl. Hello. And we have another chestnut-fronted macaw called Oracle. Now, Oracle is a beautiful bird. He's male, a male version of this one. He was very plucked out when he came in and very, very scared. Oracle was handed in to a rescue and caged in there, and he just could not cope. He was terrified. It wouldn't come out of the cage at all. And then the reasons for that is because he was kept in a tiny dog crate, probably that big, in the dark attic for 6 years on his own. And so he's now agoraphobic. Recently, although there's nothing actually physically wrong with him, psychologically he's very, very damaged. And he finds big spaces scary. So we put him in our retirement pen, and he wouldn't come out for anything. And just recently he's managed to come out and go into a different area where it's slightly enclosed, but he has the freedom, and he's coping with that as an open space. So I'm hoping, probably take years, but over time he will learn that it's okay, and he's not in the dark, in an attic on his own, in a tiny cage left to rot. So in March this year we had a massive caseload come in of cruelty cases, and I'll talk about Eddie. So Eddie is a military macaw, and they are protected under CITES in Appendix 1 of CITES, so they are not allowed to be traded, and very big restrictions on them. We took in a few militaries because this person had loads. He was a parrot collector, so he just kept taking more and more parrots from rescues, buying them, whatever. And Eddie came in bald, very pale, not able to move much, and incredibly shut down. He's coping and he is okay, but he's not as yet thriving. It's too early. It can take such a long time to turn these birds round. So when they are completely plucked, it's self-harming. Now people go, birds pluck because they're bored. No, the vast majority of plucked out parrots is self-harming, the same as young adults do, or children, and that's because people buy parrots and they assume that they're going to get something like they see on the social media world, and they're not like that. They're wild birds, and these birds scream. So when they flock call, and a parrot is incredibly loud, and they call and call and call, and people go, oh, it's too loud, I can't cope with it. And you go, well, it's a parrot and it's flock calling its own kind, because they're so socially intelligent that they have to be with their own kind. And often people find that too much, and they either get rid of the parrot or they put it somewhere where the noise isn't going to annoy them, which means that they're shoved in different rooms on their own and they have nothing. They then shut down and they go, oh, phew, it's now quiet. But the parrot doesn't move, it doesn't do anything, it just sits there waiting to die. And the pain inside, psychological pain inside and emotional pain, is so great that they self-harm and they pull out all their feathers and they scream when they do it because it hurts them. So they come in that caseload, there was a lot of the bigger birds came in bald. Some are growing feathers back. Sometimes they are so, they've done it so much that the feathers won't grow back, and then they're permanently bald because they've damaged the feather follicles. So yeah, that's Eddie. He's very pale. I imagine he's got liver disease and pancreatitis. The vet is due very, very soon. He'll come do blood tests on him, and then we can take it from there and see what we can do for him. But it's touch and go with him. Fair wind and a fair trade, he'll pull through, and then he'll live for the rest of his life here and safe. Rocky is an African grey, a Congo African grey, where he came in from a group of people that had him, kept him caged, fed him utter rubbish, and then came here, got out of their van and threw the travel cage at me and said, he's a little shit and I don't want to see him again. And that was it. And Rocky is a massive male Congo African grey. They are one of the most common parrots that we get offered because they're so intelligent. When you incarcerate one in a cage for the rest of its life, it's not going to end well for the bird or the person. So Rocky had bitten the owner, understandably, and then she hated him and kept him caged and wouldn't go near him. So he came in incredibly vicious. He would lunge at anyone, he would bite anyone, he would do anything to hurt people. And then over a period of time, he recovered, and me and him are so incredibly bonded now. And I'll kiss him and he'll kiss me and we cuddle, and he's got a hell of a sense of humour, actually. He laughs when we do things wrong, and once I was power washing the floor and the power washer broke, and I'd just covered the floor in soap, and it was late at night and in winter, and I was near to tears at that point because it'd been a very, very long day. And Rocky stood on a stick just above the soap line and looked at the floor, and I won't swear, so I'll change the word. But he looked at the floor and looked at me, and he just went, effing hell. And they were just like, and I just laughed, and I thought, yeah, thanks, Rocky, because that's exactly, what I need to hear, because it's just on my side, fighting a battle that seems impossible. So, yeah, that's Rocky.
If you had to sort of sum up in 3 things, what people need to know about parrots.
Yeah, sure. Just 3. Crikey. Parrots are not pets. That is everything that we're doing. We have to stop the pet trade, we have to stop the backstreet breeders, stop the sales online on supermarket, online pre-love type things, stop selling them. And we have to stop the trade, stop them coming into the country. And if we can do that, we can stop the pet trade. These are wild birds. These are not pets under any circumstances, and I will argue till I am dead that these are not pets and they should never, ever, ever have been in the pet trade in the first place.
If you want to support the rescue, then all the details will be in the description. And make sure you subscribe to help spread the word about sanctuaries like these. And I'll see you in the next one.